feel like the whole night's been like a warm-up act for me. Landed with some crowd. All right. So, hey, I got a laugh in the first 30 seconds. That makes me unique tonight. I'm a unicorn. Eat it, Jared. I'm 40 and I'm single. So as you might expect, I play a lot of laser tag. Someone's got to shoot. Anyway, one way or another. And it's sad. It's really sad. But there was a redeeming thing because I was playing and I pissed off a bunch of teenagers. And they're like, that guy's 50. Why is he playing? And that's not remarkable, but think about it. When was the last time you pissed off a bunch of teenagers that you didn't give birth to? Nothing from this crowd. This side likes me. This side's cold as death. It's all right. I know my audience. That one worked. All right. So I'm a lawyer, and I know you guys all don't like lawyers, and that's fine. But I'm not the kind of lawyer that chases ambulances and sues doctors for malpractice or tries to make a living out of people's misery. I am a criminal defense attorney. I make a living keeping criminals on the streets. I make a living keeping drunk drivers on the road. All right? So you're welcome, everybody. All right? So drink up, because you're my target audience. Because that's the thing. And I didn't get into lawyers via the money, because there's not much money in it anymore. I got in it because I felt that I had a calling. But I wanted to make a difference in this. I had dreams of doing important work, taking on important cases. Now I got dreams of making my rent. And sometimes you have to be careful making wishes, because wishes can go the wrong way. Like, I made a wish that I would make more money doing comedy than in my law practice. And it didn't occur to me that there's more than one way that could be interpreted. And when I'm not representing criminals, I try to volunteer and do work for the homeless. And I take on about 6 homeless cases and help them get rid of warrants, because the cops lately have been giving people tickets for being homeless. And I'm against that, because I don't think you should get tickets for things that you can't change. That's like getting tickets for being single. All right? Because that's something you would change if you could. There's no one saying, hey, you know what I want? I want to be homeless. If you're homeless, you're trying like fuck not to be homeless. The same way, if you're single, you're hitting every dive bar in town trying not to be single, with about equal amount of success, from my personal experience. So like I said, but I think so. There's a lot of work to be done, and there's a lot of people penalizing people who are homeless, and I don't think you should penalize things for you can't, or at least if you're trying to change but can't. But what I also do as a lawyer is I make the world safe for annoying texters. So I had a client who was facing 9 years in prison for one single text message. Okay? Now granted, it was a horrific fucking text message. So it's extremely important for you to know, if you take nothing else from my set here, that no matter how heartbroken you are, it is not okay to text someone, I'm probably gonna murder you. I know, you were going to, right? So since you can't do that, because that kind of specificity in California is called a criminal threat, you have to introduce a little ambiguity. So what you might say is, there's a small but statistically significant probability something horrible is going to happen to you in the next 3 years. Or if you want to get a little more obscure, a little more arcane, a little more recherché, you might say, vis-a-vis our recent breakup, your existence resembles that of Schrodinger's cat. All right, what's that? We don't like Schrodinger's cat jokes, we don't like murder, we don't like dead cats. What's the problem here?
We don't all date physicists.
I've never dated a physicist. I want to. I did date an engineer. And dating an engineer is fantastic, because they take relationships to its natural, logical endpoint, because they test the destruction. Give it a moment. Take your time. I paid for 10 minutes. Got all the time in the world. You're on my tab. And but I have, you wouldn't believe this, but I have dated. My most recent ex-girlfriend was a hairdresser. That went well. She didn't like the way I did my hair, which wasn't wrong. And the girl I dated before that was a psychiatrist. And that was great, but, because she dealt with the mentally ill. But she wouldn't prescribe, she was able to prescribe drugs, because psychologists can't prescribe drugs, psychiatrists can, and she wouldn't give me any, no matter how much I begged or needed them. And, but she was great. I really, really liked her because she was fucking beautiful. I mean, just fucking beautiful. And she was fucking beautiful because she had a lot of work done. And I don't care, because I am that next level of shallow, where I don't care if it's store-bought beauty or natural. Like some people are like, oh, I like natural tits. Who fucking cares? If you can enhance something with money, well, why wouldn't you? Like all the comics here, right? We paid $50 to do a set. That's enhancing our comedy careers with money. I mean, and fake tits are an investment. Do you know how many free beers you get? I mean, like in what? 2 years, you pay off the 10 or 15,000 it costs. So that's free advice. I don't know. How do we end up here? We were talking about volunteering for the homeless, right? Now, I think we should beautify the city. I do. And I think what we should start is that we call it free, because that's one of the Democrats' talking point, is that we should have universal health care. But if we can't get to universal health care, we can get to universal breast care. Stay with me. All right? The idea is make breast enhancements, breast augmentations, fake tits, free for anybody who wants them. And I'm not even saying only for females. Transgender, men who want to have huge boobs, whatever. It's free for that. And the reason why is, think about this. You walk past a homeless encampment, right? And instead of sort of being ugly or disheveled, every one of them has a perfect rack. Tell me that doesn't enhance the beauty of the city. That doesn't enhance tourism value? No? That's ideas. When you don't date, you got a lot of time to think about things. Like I thought about ways, zoos often don't have money, and I thought about ways that we can have more money for zoos. And I thought we could offer a package for people who are rich with too much money in their hands, like the Kushners and the Trumps, to fight animals for pay-per-view. And so I think Jared Kushner, after pounding a 6-pack of beer, be like, I could take a gorilla. I've been studying that Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I got a rear naked choke, triangle choke. It's gonna work. He's never gonna expect it. He doesn't watch the UFC. And on the off chance that some dude bro pounds a 6-pack and on this pay-per-view for $1 million takes out a gorilla, I'm okay with that. Because when the fucking revolution comes, be like, hey, yeah, kill all those other rich dudes, but that dude, he fucking took out a gorilla with his bare hands. He's all right. We'll let him live. Entertainment value. Because the revolution's coming. Or the aristocracy, one or the other. Let's see. So, I hate this thing. What the fuck? We got wireless everything, but the fucking mic has a cord that just hates my legs. And so I haven't dated in a real long time, guys. But the last girl I dated, well, not the last girl, but the psychiatrist gave me this amazing compliment. She gave me this amazing compliment. She said, of all the guys I slept with, I think you're the only one that might be smarter than me. And that doesn't sound like much of a compliment, but you gotta understand, she was a doctor. All right, and doctors are super arrogant. Okay, they're arrogant like CEOs are arrogant. They're arrogant like certain presidents are arrogant. They're arrogant like comics on stage right now are arrogant. And we were in a club together called Mensa, which is a place where geeks get together to hang out. And it's a really lonely club. It's a place that's super socially awkward with incredibly high admission standards. And because you can only get in if you score in the top 2% in an IQ test. Now, there's no actual score, what an IQ means. You can only tell in percentage points. But, and I just thought it was interesting that you have these really high standards for a club that no one wants to be in. Because no one there wants to be there. Everyone wants to be hanging out in bars and dating girls, and they're all there playing board games because they can't. And that's just a really interesting collection of sad. So anyway, if you liked any of this, I write books. I wrote a book called Necromancer in Chief, which is what if Donald Trump was a necromancer and evil and became president. And I have a website, dougxcomedy.com. Check it out.